it gives access to something you didn't earn. And the sweat equity for critical thinking is part of learning. That's why when a kid says, just give me the answer. No.
This is Ask Dr. E, where Dr. Michael Easley answers your biblical or theological questions in 10 minutes or less. Today's question was a text message, and it reads, Michael, thanks for doing everything you do. Was curious to get your thoughts on AI. Oh boy. I've used Chat GPT, and it's almost like having a smart personal assistant. It's also terrifying. I also see trailers for movies about robots taking over the world, and it's like the warning signs are there. What are we thinking by moving forward, even more so with this? To give an inanimate object sentient
and self-awareness of it.
I'm learning a new word, guys.
Like
Here
data,
it is.
Data in the next generation.
Welcome to me.
Was he a sentient being?
Sentient.
Yeah.
Is it unsimilar to the Tower of Babel? We're playing God, right?
Well, my first thought was we all play God a lot anyway. So
yeah.
So I did something I thought this will be an interesting exercise. I will use AI to pose this question.
Oh, I like this.
So I said, give me a biblical point of view on artificial intelligence.
Yeah. Did you use Chat GPT or what did you use?
This was, yes.
Okay.
Let me take it back. It was...
it doesn't matter.
It says the AI generated this answer.
Okay.
So I used it on my browser, which I use Brave, by the way, a plug for Brave. So this is what the AI generated back. The concept of artificial intelligence, AI, is a complex and multifaceted topic that raises many questions about its implications on human society and our relationship with God. You can already tell AI has run-ons.
Yeah.
Okay. From a biblical perspective, AI, I missed a sentence here. It raises many questions on human society and our relationship with God. From a biblical perspective, AI can be seen as a reflection of humanity's desire to create and control, which is a fundamental aspect of human nature. Now, here's the Christian part, or the Bible part.
Okay.
The Bible teaches that God created humans in his own image and likeness, Genesis 1:26-27.
Bingo.
Giving us the capacity for creativity, innovation, and problem solving. AI can be seen as an extension of this creative capacity as humans design and develop machines that can think and act independently. That's where we get a little
scary.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
However, the Bible also warns against the dangers of pride and the misuse of power. In the book of Proverbs, it is written, pride goes before destruction, a haughty spirit before the fall. Even gives a citation. The development and use of AI must be done with humility and a recognition of limitations, lest we fall prey to the temptation of idolatry and the misuse of power. And it goes on, and it says in the footnote, AI generated answer, please verify critical facts.
Yeah, valid.
So, a stupid way of doing it, but I thought, let's just see what this will generate. Now, what's it doing? It's fast, deep, wide-ranging, super complex algorithms that took the words that I gave it, biblical point of view, artificial intelligence, and it conglomerated what would you give it? A C+ response.
Sure.
You can tell it's wooden, it's mechanical. You can tell it's far from the way a person would communicate in writing, unless I guess someone might write that way. So from that standpoint, people are using it for good. I want to say one kind of blanket statement. From a medical perspective, AI is a gift. Robotics and technology in brains, in spinal surgery, in cancer identification and treatment, what they can do with medical records and cancers, putting it through AI generation on the specificity of unique cancers, this can be a game changer. Now, we have to ask, well, there'll be other things we're going to die from. Sure.
Totally.
There always will be. But do you want a robot doing a surgery 1,000 times better than a human with a microscope and the margin of errors? I don't know. I mean, I just think there are applications that we go, wow, that would be helpful. Now, let's also make a little bit of fun out of this artificial intelligence. They chose the word artificial, not real intelligence. Right. So I wonder if we can get an artificial sweetener that is as good as sugar.
Yep.
We haven't yet.
No.
And I suspect AI will always have limitations based on programming and error. Also think about any technology we have that stops, needs updates, firmware, crashes.
Totally.
Cell phones go out, internet goes out.
Yep.
So this is not the end-all solution to all our ills. Now, the practical dangers are, and this isn't even talking as a Christian, this is just talking as common sense. Loss of skill, loss of critical thinking. I don't have to go read periodicals and articles and lead authors on a essay for my doctoral degree or whatever. I can use AI to generate it, and then I can clean it up, make it sound like me. I mean, this is not. It gives access to something you didn't earn. And the sweat equity for critical thinking is part of learning. That's why when a kid says, just give me the answer. No, you got to work the problem to figure it out so you on your own feet. Think about this generation now that's completely on their cell phone when the towers go out for a day or two.
Yeah.
They won't know how to call anyone, where to go in their car. They won't be able to pay anything because they don't carry money or a card in their pocket anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, we're in a new chapter in so many ways. Obviously, I think we're going to see a whole lot more come from AI. I came across a very interesting article that these leaders in the AI world have said we should stop this. We should slow it down. And there's over 30,000 signatures right now.
Oh, yeah.
It's if you want to go into a deep, deep dive on this, but we're not doing any of it.
I know.
I mean, when Elon Musk comes out, when Bill Gates comes out, when the so-called father of AI comes out and says we need to stop it, no one's stopping it.
Well, the same is true for social media creators. There's all these guys coming out saying, I will never let my kid on Instagram. He created Instagram. Like, I mean, literally, it's the same thing. It's if we've created something and then we've gone, I don't think this is good for me personally.
It's not to get too lost in it. It's called Pause Giant AI Experience. 30,000 plus have signed it, including Elon Musk, Steve Wozniak. He was one of the founders of Apple. Andrew Yang, Tom Gruber was the team leader for Siri.
Yeah.
Think about that. The guy who invented Siri and saw it implemented says we shouldn't do it.
Right.
Jeffrey Hinton is one of Google's top AI scientists, and he was called the godfather of AI. And they're all saying, stop it.
Right.
Now, sentience is a whole other area that I'm not even going to touch on, but that's the idea, and most people 40 and under will understand Data in Star Trek Next Generation. Data was a sentient being.
Yeah.
He had a positronic brain. He could do things faster than anybody else, but he didn't have emotion. He didn't understand humor.
Didn't he eventually get emotion though?
Well, yeah, he got an emotion chip that almost destroyed the guy.
Yeah.
It's a fun science fiction thing, but the question is, could the Terminator movies, could the computer become so powerful it takes over and knows better for humans?
Yeah.
That's a science fiction illustration. Is it possible? Sure.
Yeah.
I think it's very possible in certain realms. The bigger issue I have is that when God made man in his image, he gave us, as AI said, these creative abilities to use them. Can we overreach? Tower of Babel is not a one-to-one illustration because they were trying to be like God, to make a name for themselves.
And to reach God?
Yeah. We're going to reach heaven and make a name for ourselves. And that's when God disperses them. And that's the Table of Nations, probably where language is introduced, race or cultures are introduced. Different ethnicities would be a better way of saying it than race. But when you look at that event, and this is after the fall, of course, and then the flood's going to come. All sorts of things are happening in timelines. But at the end of the day, God's still sovereign. God's still omniscient. He's still powerful. We're still under the providential hand of God. Can we use things that'll go poorly? Sure. Look at COVID. Look at swine flu. Look at things we've learned. Look at listeria. Look at E. coli.
Right.
Man can mess things up in a big way. That doesn't change God's sovereignty. So the believer can rest in that. And there's not artificial intelligence. That's eternal intelligence. That's sovereign intelligence. And it's cautionary. I don't know what the future holds. I'd be a fool to prophesy. But I'm not afraid of AI. But I do think, back to your point, when these leaders aren't letting their kids on social media, not giving them cell phones till they're like 16 years old,
right.
There's some wisdom in that.
Right.
It's hard, very hard.
Yep.
But there's some wisdom in saying, look, God gave me a stewardship with my family.
Yeah.
And for parents who are doing this all day, you're not helping your child.
Yeah.
understand technology.
Yeah.
And they need an eye-to-eye relationship with you.
Yeah. All right.
I'm off.
If you've got a question for Dr. E,
You're not going to clean up that and tell me about AI?
We're probably over 10 minutes at this point, so I just thought I would.
Okay, land the plane.
I mean, I guess I would say if AI takes over the world and robots are suddenly ruling humanity, the good news is it must be almost over and Jesus must be returning. So, you can
unleash a virus and destroy them all.
True. I don't know.
We're good at viruses.
Woo, on that note, if you've got a question for this guy, call us, text us, email us. The info is in your show notes. Ask Dr. E is produced by me, mixed and mastered by Sonomorphic, and music composed by Jason Germain.